Good morning, Manette.
Good morning, Kimberly. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Do you hear music in the background?
No,
Oh, good. Okay.
or I might have a kids in the background screaming.
Okay, Kristen, let's give this a try. I'm going to send you a prompt.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, let's see. Jennifer Horte. Um, Susie said that you wanted to do a sound check, so I'm going to send you a prompt. You'll have to answer that prompt, and then we'll see if your sound is working, okay?
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, so if you want to go ahead and use the muting and unmuting, then we won't have to go through the prompt every time. Just remember to mute yourself
Okay, yeah.
when it's appropriate. And because if we get too many people unmuted, then I will go ahead and mute people.
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And I think we have a few more of our applicants here. If anybody else would like to do a sound check, can you please raise your hand in the Zoom meeting format, and we'll go ahead and get a sound check. So we have Colette Michaud.
Yes, hi, this is Colette. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Thank you, Colette.
Thank you.
So Colette, you can go ahead and, as I mentioned to Jennifer, you can go ahead and mute yourself until it's appropriate to speak, and that would be great.
Okay.
All right, Andy, I'm sending your prompt. And do we have anyone else part of an applicant team that would like to do a sound check?
Good morning, everyone. How's my sound quality?
Sounds good, Andy. Thank you.
I'll switch off here for a couple minutes.
Okay, thanks. All right, we've got a couple more minutes before we start. I just want to give another opportunity for anyone from an applicant team to do a sound check. So if you want to raise your hand within the Zoom, we can do a sound check. Susie, I'm sending your prompt.
Hey, can you hear me?
We can.
Yay! See you in a few.
Okay.
You'll see me in a few.
All right, everyone, it is 10:30, and I'd like to call the zoning administrator meeting of October 21st to order. My name is Andy Gustafson, and I will serve as zoning administrator today. This meeting is being conducted as a virtual meeting pursuant to Government Code Section 54953E and the recommendation of the county health officer to allow us to conduct these hearings in a way that helps to minimize the spread of COVID. This meeting will be conducted as any other public meeting. We do have an agenda. We will go through each item in turn. And there are a couple of mechanical or procedural things I'd like to just briefly review. I know many of you are probably already familiar with this. but those of you who are participating by Zoom and are seeing the video may at points in the meeting where it's appropriate to comment and be recognized, you press the icon key, the hand icon key, excuse me, and you'll be recognized by the recording secretary. You will need to unmute yourself when you are recognized to be able to comment. And those of you who might be participating by telephone, will be allowed to comment, but you will need to press *9 and you will also be recognized. So that's sort of the mechanical procedural things that we need to review. Also, I want to note that today's meeting is being recorded and it will be live streamed. If you wish to review the meeting after the hearing, you can do so at on YouTube, www.youtube.com/City of Santa Rosa. All right. The first item on our agenda is, or the second, I should say, is opportunity for public comment. Those of you who have any matter that are part of or subject to the zoning administrator jurisdiction, which is not on this agenda, you may comment now, and you have 3 minutes to do so. And if you wish to do so, please either raise your hand using the hand icon key or press *9. And I'll pause here for a moment to give people an opportunity to request public comment. And I see no one raising their hand at this point. So let's move on to our scheduled items on our agenda. So before we begin, I do want to just review briefly. Each of these items will be presented in the same manner. The project planner will give their report and recommendation. The applicant will then have opportunity to comment or add more information. And then following that, we'll open up the discussion or the matter for discussion by the public. In each case, remember to raise your hand or press *9 to be recognized. Today's meeting, any item that is acted on, whether it's approved or denied or approved with conditions, may be appealed. There's a 10-day appeal period. And because today, and I always need to look at the appeal date deadline. The way it's calculated is 10 business days or the nearest business day following a weekend or a holiday. So in this case, the the appeal date will fall on November 1st at the end of the business day. And if you wish to appeal any matter on today's agenda, you do need to contact the project planner. Okay, so let's jump into the hearing. The first item is item 3.1. It is a public hearing. It's a design review. The project planner is Susie Murray, and she's going to tell us about a design review for 1835 Westfield Lane. Susie.
Oh,
Hi,
Mr.
Eddie. I don't think
Gustos,
it's me. It's
that
Monet.
is mine.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Okay.
It is Monette. Thank you.
Yep. Sounds good. Okay. Good morning, Mr. Gustafson, and thank you. So here is my screen. Can you see it? It's being shared?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So the project, as you mentioned, this is a minor design review, and it is a public hearing for Esperanza Park. This is Children's Museum of Sonoma County. A brief description of the proposed project. The minor design review is for the expansion of existing outdoor activity areas behind the existing structure on Children's Museum. There will be various climbing structure, sensory gardens, small amphitheater, picnic table area, and bathrooms. And the expansion area would be like a design area, outdoor activity for children between age of 8 to 12. Also, the existing parking area will be resurfaced and expanded to provide 38 additional parking spaces. Currently, they have 80 parking spaces and 38 will be added. So the site is zoned Public Institute Station area, which is consistent with the general plan land use designation. Here you can see the existing land uses in that area. The park is next to like a public institute on the east side. On the west side, we have some residential uses, and the creek is located on the north, like close to north side of the project. Here is the existing parcel. As you can see, the majority of the frontage of the parcel is developed with parking and outdoor area and existing structure. And here is where the area will be expanded and added additional parking spaces. The park will be expanded and structures will be added. So I will try to go through some of the structures and show the detail. The applicant is available and they can go to more details if there are any questions about those structures and play areas. So here is the site plan. As you can see on the left side, the parking will be added and trees will be added in that area to meet with our design standards for orchard style parking. No trees will be removed from the site. Actually, more trees will be planted. And these are some structures in this area: picnic tables, equipments will be added, bathroom, and most of this equipment will not be visible from the west steel lane. So they are going to be behind the existing museum building. Here is the existing elevation and proposed elevation from the parking lot. The below picture shows the existing elevation and the north one shows the proposed elevation. You can see some of the equipments like the lookout tower will be highest, like the tallest structure in the museum. This is the zip line. One of the structures being proposed is a zip line, and this is how it will look like. Here is the tallest structure in the park, which is the lookout tower. It will be 25.5 feet. And fences, there will be some fences added and repaired along the parking and the existing museum. So the picture on the north left is the existing fence along West Steel Lane. As you can see, it has like a plants covering it. So similar fence will be included on the north side and the on the north and let me see, east side of the property. That will be like a shrubs and plants will be added to it. There are also some fences within the parking to prevent access from the parking to the play area. And that fence is being shown on the north right side. So this project has been reviewed in compliance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and it qualifies for Class 3 exemption and Class 4 exemption. The project involves addition of small structures like play equipments and on a land, private alteration to the existing land, and no trees also will be removed. Notices were sent, mailed out to neighbors within 600 feet, and staff did not receive any comments or questions regarding the proposed project. With that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator, by resolution, approve minor design review for the property located at 1835 West Steel Lane. And here is my contact information for anyone who wants to contact me. The applicant team is also available to answer questions if there are any. And that was my presentation. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Manette. And I don't really have any questions, but I do invite the applicant if they wish to comment or add more information. If so, please raise your hand and you'll be recognized. All right, seeing none. Now I offer the same invitation to any member of the public who's in attendance that wishes to comment on this project. Either raise your icon hand or press *9. Again, seeing none, I'll close the public hearing on this matter. I read the resolution and the findings I think are appropriate for this project. I'll comment and say that it's really excellent to see this type of investment in such an important public facility or community facility here in the city. I think it is superior design, and it does provide for a great place for children to play in a great setting and at the museum. So I will approve the project as proposed, subject to the based on the findings prepared in the resolution and subject to the conditions of approval that have been presented. Thank you very much. Great job.
Thank you,
Right.
Mr. Gustafson.
So item 3.2, a conditional use permit for 743 Lewis Road. This was continued from the October 7th meeting. And I am going to continue this matter to a date certain. And I wanted to talk to the project planner and an applicant. The reason for the continuance is this item needed some additional information from the applicant concerning the revised fence location that is the subject of the conditional use permit. We have not received any, none has been posted for public review from this agenda, which is necessary to move forward. So I want to continue this to November 4th, which is our next zoning administrator meeting. The acting zoning administrator, Ms. Amy Nicholson, is available to hear the matter at that point, at that time. So I wanted to confirm with the project applicant, if they are in attendance, that they are able to attend that meeting. And I welcome a response.
Thank you, Mr. Gustafson. This is Kristen Atumians. I don't see them in attendance.
I see. Are they aware of the intent to continue this meeting?
Yes,
Today?
yes,
Okay.
they are.
Do you
I spoke
know?
with the designer this morning.
Great. Is the November 4th date available for them to attend, or is there another date that they need to come to?
They didn't express concerns with the date, so.
Okay. Okay, well, I ask that you do communicate with the applicant that they need to provide their proposed change or modification to their fence in writing in advance of the meeting, so that the proposal can be posted for public review for any interested party that may wish to review that. Okay, excellent. Let's move on to item 3.3, design review, 6633 Oakmont Drive. And the project planner is Adam Ross. Mr. Ross, please give your presentation.
Okay, do you see this okay?
Yep, perfect. Thank you.
So the project before you is a minor design review for an Oakmont generator for screening and landscaping. File number is DR21-048, located at 6633 Oakmont Drive. My name is Adam Ross. I'm the project planner for this item before you. So the project description includes a screening of the existing generator and above ground utilities in compliance with setbacks, maintenance requirements per PGE requirements. It's a Gotham panel that's been selected. It's a metal gate, and metal screening, and I'll show you a bit what that looks like later in this presentation. And the rest is landscaping, which I have images of as well. So here's this yellow, here's the overall parcel. Here's the yellow outline of the location of this project. Here's some here's a close-up of the landscaping. You can see the generator here. Here's the metal screening for the other outdoor equipment, and new landscaping to be placed inside. So as you can see a bit here is anyone could just kind of walk up and not that anyone vandalizes it, but maybe they might walk through. So this kind of deters people passing through to the appropriate walkways throughout the area without stepping inside this landscape area. It's kind of sparsely landscaped now, but the proposal is a pretty lush and nicely designed landscaping along with the metal screening. But it would potentially, restrict or at least deter anyone from making the mistake of going in there and potentially causing any harm to the people and or property. So here's the metal screening that's chosen. This is that Gotham style, and it's made specifically for this project. I believe the Oakmont Village Association met and chose this design to their liking. So here's the existing north view, existing west view. As you can see, it's just some sod and low growth plants. So here's that new metal screening with new ornamental trees and more of a lush yet drought tolerant landscaping. So the landscaping would be required to comply with the water efficient landscaping ordinance that the city has in place. So again, existing, proposed from the same view, existing, proposed from the same view, existing, proposed from the same view, existing, and proposed from the same view. So as you can see, it's quite a nice design. There are no setback requirements for the fencing. There's no limit to the fencing height. A building permit is required for this, I should say metal screening, not so much fencing, but there are no height restrictions and it's outside of any sort of vision triangle. So with that, the Planning and Economic Development Department recommends that the zoning administrator by resolution approve a minor design review for the Oakmont generator screening and landscaping project located at 6633 Oakmont Drive, file number DR21-048. Again, this is my contact information if any questions come up, and I'm available for any, should you have any questions.
You're on mute, Andy.
Yeah, thank you, Adam. That was a clear presentation, good graphics. Is there any member of the project team that wishes to comment? Please raise your hand if you wish to do so. And I see one, Iris Harrell.
Yes, hi, I am Chair of the Building Construction Committee, and we also have our architect, landscape architect available, but Adam did a good job of presenting this. The issue also is aesthetically, it looks like a industrial complex there right now. We put the generator in so that we are a senior community so that we could have people charge their phones, be in a place that's heated if the power goes out. And we really need to aesthetically address the big presence of it. It's the first thing you see in any direction when you're going to those buildings and the auditorium. So I thank you, Adam, for doing such a nice presentation, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. I have none. All right. Is there any member of the public present who may wish to comment on this project? If so, please raise your hand or press star 9. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Yeah, it's a beautiful screen. I applaud the association for that design, landscaping, and screening solution. It's quite beautiful. I hope that other generators in the city, particularly in visually prominent places such as this one, take that same approach. I read through the resolution prepared by Mr. Ross and find that the appropriate findings are made here to support the approval of this project, and the appropriate conditions are also applied. So with that, this minor design review is approved. Thank you very much. All right, now we come to the last item on our agenda, item 3.4. It's design review for 401 Bicentennial Way. And okay, now it's time for Susie Murray to give the people information.
Let me go ahead and share my screen. Am I sharing?
Oh, not yet. I don't
Well,
think.
doesn't that just figure? I guess it requires 2 clicks, huh?
Here we go. Yep.
All right, let me get into the right mode here. Okay,
Perfect.
there we are. So the project before you this morning, Sir Zoning Administrator, is a proposed fuel cell equipment installation at 401 Bicentennial, which is a Kaiser Permanente campus. This image here is a picture of a previously installed system at another location, but gives you an idea of what it will look like. The project requires a design review application. The site is located up on the corner, or surrounded by 101 Bicentennial Way and Mendocino Avenue, and is public institutional. It's a general plan land use designation, and the zoning is also public institutional, which always is a nice site when they are nice and consistent like this. Here's an aerial view of the campus. And the installation is being proposed at where the red and gold star is, and that's a blow up of that area up in the left-hand corner. It is directly off the Mendocino, kind of midway on the Mendocino property line. It takes access from there. Here again is kind of what the equipment area will look like on the right. It's tucked neatly in between MOB 1 and 2. And you can see what it's replacing. Most of the area that's being disrupted is paved right now and home to other equipment. From the street, this is what it looks like now. The equipment will be installed where the arrow's pointing. So it's nicely screened, mostly by landscaping. The project has been conditioned that if during construction they determine they need to remove any of those redwood trees, that they will do it in compliance with the city's tree ordinance, City Code Chapter 20 or 1724. For design review, there are 6 required findings, all of which have, through staff's review, we've determined that they can be met and were drafted on the draft presentation or the draft resolution. The project has been found exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act because it involves the installation of new equipment, a minor installation. The project was required to provide a noise evaluation. These generators do make some noise. Given the proximity to some residential uses, it was found to be in compliance with the city's noise ordinance, chapter 1716 of the zoning code. And it also concluded that there were no significant impacts to any of those nearby receptors. There were no issues or no unresolved issues through staff's review. Actually, I don't think there were any issues raised other than the noise element, and no public comments were received. all noticing was done in compliance with the zoning code. So with that, it is recommended by the Planning and Economic Development Department that the zoning administrator by resolution grant design review to allow the installation of fuel cell equipment at the Kaiser Permanente campus, 401 Bicentennial Way, file number DR 21-029. And for anybody who's listening to this and may not be able to see this screen, my name is Susie Murray. If you have any questions, you can contact me at my phone is 707-543-4348. And my email address, although I will say it's better off, you're much better off to call me. My email address is smurray@srcity.org. And that concludes my presentation. The applicant's available. They are not doing a presentation, but they're available for questions if you have any. That concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you, Susie. All right, I don't have any questions right now, but I will once I have given public opportunity to comment. And if the public wishes, I'm assuming the applicant team doesn't want to comment. I'll give you a moment here. If you don't, or if you do, raise your hand. I see none. Okay, so is anybody present from the public that wishes to comment? If so, please raise your hand, press *9. Seeing none, I close the public hearing. Okay. The question I have, and I was looking at the submitted plan, Susie, is fencing and screening. I do see that there's fencing, but it doesn't look like it's a total enclosure. I can't really discern that from the plans. So I'll ask the project team, how is this facility going to be enclosed? Or maybe Susie, you can do that.
She's just unmuted herself. Jennifer, go ahead.
So there is going to be a retaining wall on the face of Montesino, is it drive or street? There is a retaining wall there.
Okay, I do see like cinder blocks. I'm looking at sheet C1.4 elevation views, and I'm reading that to understand. So is there a trespass fenced enclosure around this facility? I guess that's an easier way to ask the question.
No.
Okay, is Kaiser concerned about that in terms of people come, because it's a very accessible, visible street. I don't believe that there's any exclusion fencing at this point on the facility grounds.
No, Kaiser is not concerned.
Okay. Susie, you made a comment regarding existing vegetation screening would practically block this from view from Mendocino Avenue, correct?
Yeah, if you're walking down the sidewalk and you turn and look, you'll be able to see some equipment there. You can see some equipment there now, which you can see in the aerial view. I can bring that back up on the screen if you want me to. But really, it's tucked back into a corner between two buildings where you'd almost have to be looking at it from an angle. If you look at the site plan, I think it's on G1.1. That really shows the angle. If you're on the north side of the driveway looking in, you would probably be able to see some equipment. If you're on the south side of the driveway, it's pretty much screened by the existing vegetation. There is a small grove of redwood trees right there. And again, if any of them were affected, and I think there's a possibility of one closest to the project site, not furthest away from the street. If any tree does need to be removed, they will be replaced in compliance with the tree ordinance, and they're prepared. And I also want to say that early on in the project, I met with the applicant, the project engineer, and also Kaiser representatives, and they expressed no concern There's no screening, you're right. The campus is just wide open. You can travel through it, but it's also active, I believe, 24 hours a day. So Susie actually mentioned that I was going to say about, okay, good. I guess I've already addressed the comments about the trees.
Yes. Okay. Well, I'll just note that if it becomes necessary, I don't want to belabor this point, but just comment that I would expect a facility like this to have some enclosure at some point because of trespass concern. And while the applicant or Kaiser may not have that concern today, I believe if an additional fencing is determined in the future to be needed, would design review be required for that?
Some level of design review,
Yeah.
but my guess is it would likely be over the counter because again,
Okay.
it's just not highly visible from the street. I would think, I mean, I looked at it in terms of screening it because of the aesthetics, not because of security. And I didn't feel that that was necessary. We do have several of these systems at other locations up behind the, up on where Orchard Supply used to be up on top of the hill. There's a system. There's a couple up on Fountain Grove. And I'm trying to think, I don't think their screening has been like the chain link fence with the slats and stuff. I'm 59 years old and I can scale one of those. So I don't know that it's really good for screening, but I mean, it's good for screening, but not for security. So I don't think it's been a problem. I haven't heard of it being a problem, so.
Well, thank you for that. I think, I just wanted to let the applicant know or Kaiser know that should they decide in the future that an enclosure of some type for trespass exclusion, that kind of security, that they can do so, and it would be an administrative over-the-counter review. That's good.
Yeah, likely.
And I agree. I read your staff report, or I should say resolution, and the findings you made there are appropriate to support this design review. It is tucked away and integrated with the site. And I do agree that excessive use of fencing in a facility like this makes it appear foreboding and versus, more open and friendly. So anyway, with the proposal as presented, I will approve the project, the design review, and we are concluded with this matter. So thank you very much for bringing this forward. And with that, we've finished the last item on our agenda for the zoning administrator meeting of October 21st. And I will adjourn the meeting at 11:04 a.m. Thank you all for participating.